All right, welcome back to session 3 of Relead, coming at you on a beautiful Wednesday morning. We're going to go ahead and jump in on today's topic, which is the topic of building a mission, a vision, and applying it to your plan. Let me get a quick swig of water here. Before we get started, the one thing I wanted to address, because I've had quite a few clients ask me, and I know depending on what part of the country you're in, you could have clients asking you as well. And that is the question around, just stepping out of the topic for a second, the question around how is the coronavirus or the talk of the coronavirus going to affect the real estate market? Well, for those of you that have been doing this for a while, you know that we've had instances where there's been a lot of fear, all right? We had a swine flu years ago. We had, of course, the market crash of 2010, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11. And what happens is any sort of epidemic, if you will, leads to fear. And fear essentially does a couple things. Number one, fear stops people from taking action. It also causes people to take action. So for instance, you may, customer says to you, because you got to have a script for this, because they're going to start asking if they haven't asked you yet. Customer says to you, what's going to happen at the real estate market, or what should we think of the real estate market because of the coronavirus? Well, fear causes people to do two things. Number one, it causes them to stay put, stay on the fence, don't do anything, wait until it's over, wait and see type of thing. And it also causes people to take action. And when it causes people to take action, that causes people to say, you know what, it could get worse. I'm going to go now. Or I've got to sell now before the market drops further, or I have to buy now before my stocks drop further. So what happens is you actually have a little bit of an equilibrium. Now, I can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you, hey, the market's going to be just fine. I don't know what's going to happen in the market. But what I can tell you is that history shows us that for the most part, we don't have a significant drop in sales. Drop in sales prices maybe, but for the most part, not a significant drop in sales. And you can look back at the numbers of 2010 versus say 2015, when the market was in the tank in 2010 versus where it was in 2015. You know that the sales in the United States only dropped. All that news about a bad reception, I think we went from 5.5 or 5.6 million sales nationwide to just under 5 million. So, I mean, that's not a significant drop that you feel. And so I would expect that we'll probably have the same thing. Fear is causing people to say, you know what, nope, we're not doing anything right now. We'll figure this out later. Or it's causing people to say, oh my gosh, because of this, we have to take action. So there's always two sides of that coin. So don't think that everyone's just going to stay home and wear masks all day and nobody's going to be buying, nobody's going to be selling. No, there's going to be a certain percentage that do that. And then there's going to be another percentage that take action because of it. All right. And don't be one of those agents unless you're in a situation where your health is not in the best or your immune system is not in order. Don't let it stop you from doing what you need to do every day. Okay. So last week and every week we give away goods to the person that used our hashtag #LoveRU, #Relead. A lot of you are using it, posting, sharing ahas, sharing pictures, sharing whatever. Anytime you use #LoveRU or #Relead, we scour the internet to find these and we pick one random winner each week. As time goes on, we're going to be giving away tickets and we're actually one of our grand prizes is going to be a trip to our next event. And this particular week, we are giving away another cool water bottle and a Live Unreal shirt. These are real popular. A lot of people like to wear these. So men's or women's, we have different versions. So the winner of this week's Live Unreal gear will be dropping this in the mail to you after today's session. The winner of today's session is Miss Megan Molden. Megan Molden, thank you and congratulations for your winning. We will send you the Stay Cool water bottle. By the way, I use this thing. I mean, you can put stuff in there. It stays cool for like 5-6 hours. And we're going to drop you a Live Unreal t-shirt, a women's t-shirt in the mail to you. Thank you for sharing your experience. I appreciate, in your post, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So kudos to you and everyone else, quite honestly, who's joining us on this, because my job is to create a bigger room, create a bigger thinking room. Okay, so let's jump into today's topic. On the topic of creating a mission and a vision, all right, I wrote down, we had a time in our company, probably 2014, maybe 15, where we were having some good growth, but we had hit a plateau. meaning we were doing maybe 600-700 transactions, and we really were striving to get to 1,000, and we just hit a plateau. And so we had a consultant come in and look at our business. And I had asked that consultant if she could spend some time analyzing our business and trying to help us figure out what went wrong. Or not necessarily what went wrong, what we can do to get over the hump, right? Because by the way, anytime you hit a plateau in a business, you usually have to do a little bit of introspection and look at what you're doing regularly, look at what you're doing on a regular basis, and make a great shift. Well, this consultant came in, spent 2 weeks in our company. She looked at our books, she interviewed our associates, she watched all of our processes, she watched our inside sales team, she watched our operations team in action. She really came in and just tried to understand what we were doing on a regular basis. And so she came to me with a full report of here's what I recognize and here's what you need to do to improve. The overwhelming thing in this report, and she actually said, I can sum it up though in 1 page. And I said, what was that? Well, what I found is you guys have no real clear mission here. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, you have no, what's your mission statement? Why are you showing up to work every day? And of course I scratched my head and was like, all right, well, I don't want to be wrong, so I got to come up with something. I said, well, we're here to make money. Everyone comes here to make money. That's what we do. We help people make money. And she said, no, it's more than that, right? Your people understand that they are living good lives and they are making money, but why are you doing what you do every day? Why are they doing what they do every day? And so one of the biggest things that I credit to this particular time in our company's history is we went from 600-700 transactions to the next year, I think maybe 850 or 900. And after that, we finally did hit 1,000 transactions, 1,013 transactions that year. And the number one thing that we discovered is that we have no real clear mission or why or rhyme or reason behind what we're doing. Now, I know you're saying, well, that sounds, all cute and cuddly and fuzzy, yeah, everyone wrap their arms and say kumbaya, but no, it's a little deeper than that. So we went through a process as a team, and I would recommend you do this with your team. Or by the way, if you're a solo and you're not at that point yet, you need to start thinking about what your personal mission is. And do some sort of activity like I'm about to do with you in just a moment with yourself. Now, if you are working collaboratively with your office, even if it's not your office, even if you don't own the company, you could probably go pull a few leaders aside and say, hey guys, I think it's time we get real clear on our mission. And by the way, real clear on the mission. If I were to ask you, what is your personal mission statement? What is it? What is your company's mission statement? What is it? What is your office's mission statement? What is it? What is your brokerage mission statement? What is it? A, and B, by the way, you should be writing that down. What is my personal mission statement? What is my company's mission statement? Can you clearly articulate that? Can you present that to someone? And then A, so that's A, and then B, can you tell me how you live that out? Can you tell me what plays into that? Can you tell me what you do differently because of it? What is your mission statement? And what do you do daily to live it? All right, so let's jump into that for a second. So we went through a process with our associates where we gathered our best associates and, associates that have been with us for a while. We said, okay, guys, it's very clear. One of the reasons why we're stuck at this 600 level and we're not able to break through to 800, 900, 1,000 is because we're operating without a real clear mission. Shame on me. I apologize as your leader. And again, I really thought the mission was just everybody wants to work here because everyone wants to make money. That's our mission. I wasn't clear about it. It wasn't written down anywhere. It was in my head, but it wasn't good enough because that's not actually why everyone wants to work with you. You see, and that was a huge aha for me. I actually believe that the only reason why people wanted to work for me is because they wanted to make money. Trust me when I tell you there's a lot more reasons why they want to work with you. And have you actually thought about what those reasons are? And if you don't know the answers, you just have to ask them. So we went through a process, which I'm going to take you through in a moment, where we got our best people together and we went through an activity to develop a mission. And then from there, we created a vision. So I'm going to use the whiteboard behind me in just a second. But if you would, turn to a clean sheet of paper. You should have a ReLead workbook. If you don't, you email us at info@GloverU. We can get that out to you. Use your ReLead workbook for this, or somewhere if you're taking notes on the computer or on just an old-fashioned yellow pad like I used to use. And I want you to write these things down, okay? I want you to write down your mission as you create it. And by the way, many of you are on here, you have a good mission. you've got a strong mission. You've got a valuable mission. You live your mission. All right. So maybe you're just going to tweak your mission. Maybe it's time to change your mission. You know, companies every 10, 15, 20 years sometimes go through phases where they update their mission. That's totally normal. So I wrote down, in the business of real estate, your mission must be customer service focused. Your mission must be customer service focused, ... and you have 2 customers. Your mission in the real estate business must be customer service focused, ... keeping in mind you have 2 customers. The customer, the buyer, one customer, buyers and sellers who transact business with you. Another customer, your agents. You have to think of your agents as customers. You are in the service business. By the way, leadership is service, right? So you have to think of your agents that work with you as customers of yours. So you have to have a mission that involves the customer, importantly, the agent and the buyers and the sellers. And by the way, I wrote down the mission is the ability to promote the difference you've made and what more you'd like to accomplish. The mission is the ability to promote the difference you've made and what more you'd like to accomplish. So again, think the customer as agents and the consumer, the buyers and sellers. What makes you tick? And by the way, don't give me this, oh, I love helping others. Oh, I just love seeing people succeed. That's too generic. All right, don't just copy and paste it from your competitor's website. I know a lot of you guys do that. You actually have to dig deep and give this one some serious thought. And by the way, I'm going to show you an activity that you can do personally, or you can do with your team to help your personal mission. And then from there, and your vision. Because you can't have a value proposition. It won't be very clear to have a value proposition if you're not clear about your mission and your vision. Okay, so let's take a moment and I'm going to walk you through the exact activity that we did with our team. All right, this is the activity that we sat down, our best people, round table, whiteboard, let's talk. So I'm going to take you to the whiteboard. Okay, so first things first, and I want you to follow along. Okay, I want you to write down the words or phrases that come to mind of why you work here. Okay, so I wrote down on my whiteboard, I wrote down why. Okay, words or phrases, sorry, let me just get something out of the way. Words or phrases of why you work here. Okay, and I'll give you an example of some of those. These are actual words that were written down when we quizzed our associates. Now, if you're on your own and you're working on developing your own personal mission statement, okay, then you would write down words and phrases of why you want people to work for you. Got it? So if you're currently in a leadership role and you've got people that report to you, I want you to write down, I want them to tell you why they work here. So now this could be uncomfortable because, you know, by the way, hopefully no one in this session is thinking, you know, you got a room full of crickets when you ask the question. That wouldn't be a good thing. But I want you to ask the question and write these points down. Why do you work here? What makes you stay here? Words, phrases. I don't need full-length paragraphs. I don't need sentences. And by the way, again, if you're solo or you want to be a leader, but you're not ready to be a leader yet, then you'd write down the words and phrases of why you think you'd want people to work for you. Got it? Okay, so these are actual things that our associates wrote down a few years ago. Okay, and forgive me, I know the whiteboard's a little far away, so if you can't see it, I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to say them out loud. So these are some of the things I wrote down. Okay, why do we work here? Because this place is innovative. All right, I'm using red, so hopefully you can see a little better. Why do we work here? Because of the lifestyle that's provided. Why do we work here? Because we are a winning team. Everyone's winning. Why else? Culture. Okay. Why else do you work here? Because of support. Okay. Why else do you work here? Because of operations. Okay. These are all the things that our associates said as their reasons why they work here. And I want you to take your people through the same activity. Again, if you don't have people, you do this activity with yourself or what you think that they would say or what you would want them to say. Why do you work here? For balance. I work at this company because it helps me achieve balance in my life. I work here, I'm gonna go over here. I work here because of marketing. You guys do a lot of marketing. I work here because the customer service is top notch. I work here because of the coaching. Okay. I work here Because of the accountability. Why else do you work here? I work here. By the way, don't be surprised if this one is said early on, and don't be mad if this is said early on. I work here because of the leads. Now, I want to stop for a second. Any company that's built on leads, meaning your value proposition is providing leads to someone, okay, you will always be handcuffed to the cost of a lead. Cost of leads go up. You either need to increase your expense or you need to decrease leads. Either way, if you decrease leads or adjust leads and they're with you for that reason, they will leave you for that reason. They come for leads, they'll leave for leads. Got it? Somebody else can offer them more leads. So you'll notice when we get into the next session, when I talk about value proposition, it's okay if leads is part of your value proposition. Just can't be the number one reason. It probably shouldn't be 2 or 3 either. All right? For us, it's maybe 5 or 6. But so don't get mad when they say leads, because that is a true reason why they're there. Okay? Become a better leader. I'm here to become a better leader. Why else? I'm here for to provide for my family. Provide for family. This is, again, an activity. You're doing the whiteboarding. They're throwing things at you. Now, it wouldn't be a bad thing, by the way, if you did one of these without yourself in it. All right? So when we did these, we actually had one of our managers. Now, if you have a smaller group, you don't have a manager, you have to be involved. But it's not a bad thing to do it with one of your managers and let them lead it. Why? They'll be more honest. They'll tell you the truth when you're not necessarily, when the owner isn't in the room. Okay, why do I want to work here? To develop my leadership skills. Okay, these are just some actual examples of what they said. So that's step 1. Why do you work here? Okay, step 2 is I want you to look for some consistencies in these, and I want you to circle some of the consistencies. All right, so let's take a look at some of the consistencies here. All right, I saw leader a couple times. Leader, I came here for the leadership. I came here for the leadership, and I also want to be a better leader. Okay, there's some consistency there. I came here for we'll say, what did I see a couple times? Balance and lifestyle. Those kind of go together, balance and lifestyle. Okay, customer service and support could go together, right? Culture could also go with lifestyle because it's part of everyday living, right? So I want you to circle the words or phrases that are consistent, meaning these two kind of go together, these two relate. Sometimes you'll have 3 different words, but they all have the same meaning. You're looking for consistencies, and I want you to circle them, all right? Now the next question is, I'm going to move over to this part of the board. The next question is, you take the ones that I've circled, all right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 circled. You take what's circled, okay? You should be following along, taking notes. The next question I want you to write down is this. Ready? If we hit a home run on everything that's circled, describe how that would look or feel. Okay, so this is why you work here. You found some consistencies. Now ask the question. If we hit a home run on all those, you're feeling really good. You like those. And we hit a home run. We nail it out of the park. We're batting 1,000. We hit a home run on those. I want you to ask the question, what does it look and feel like? Give me some words and phrases that describe what it looks and feels like. Okay, I'm going to give you some actual responses when we did this activity. Ready? If we hit a home run on all these, what does that look and feel like? Ready? It feels amazing. Okay. It would feel incredible. Somebody said euphoric. Okay, that's reality. Feels euphoric. Somebody said orgasmic, but I can't include that one. Kidding. Somebody said energizing. Energizing. Motivating. How would it feel if we hit the nail on the head on these? Meaning you had all these things going for you in the company. What feelings would you have? I heard unstoppable. Unstoppable. I heard unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. These are the feelings that you would have if we nailed those. Okay. I heard, let's see. Family, it would feel like family if we hit all those. Okay, and we'll just say rainbows and butterflies, R&B. Rainbows and butterflies, we nail these, we're gonna have this feeling when we come into work every day or while we're at work every day. Okay, so if you hit a home run, what is it gonna feel like? Next, what I want you to do is take all of those descriptors, if you will, and I want you to look for, again, just like we did here, some consistencies. Okay, so a couple words that might have the same meaning. Okay, let's take a look at, for instance, amazing and incredible. Pretty similar meaning, right? Okay, let's take a look at unbelievable. Okay, that would be close to amazing. Euphoric would be very close to amazing and unbelievable, right? I'm looking for some consistencies in these words. Okay, so we'll stop there. Now, again, this was our actual activity. This doesn't mean that these are going to be the words that your people say. So we're going to stop there. Now I'm going to take those words. Okay, I looked for some consistencies or some similar meanings. And the next step is coming up with one word that describes them all and create your own definition. Come up with one word that describes them all and create your own definition. By the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, it's on pretty much everything we do. The word that we came up with, the one word or phrase, was unreal. And by the way, when someone asks us what unreal means, we can give you a definition just like that. Why? Because we went through this activity and we talk about it constantly. We put it everywhere, right? It's on our water bottles, it's on our t-shirts, it's in everything we do. One word and come up with your own definition. Well, what is the definition to unreal? Okay, watch this. The definition of unreal to Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors. It is something so amazing that it's almost unbelievable. Something so amazing, almost unbelievable is what unreal means to us. Now, we're not done. Okay, we're about halfway done. So, if we're hitting, by the way, come up with one word to describe, great. Now, if you're hitting a home run on everything you circled, and by the way, you're hitting a home run on all this, and your new word, what will the customer experience be like? Think about this for a second. So this is why you work here, and this is what happens to you when you work here. Now, what happens in the customer experience? If these are going on, the circled areas are happening, right? The lifestyle, the customer service, the leader and leadership, the culture, the support, which is leading to an unreal life, something so amazing, it's unbelievable. Now, how does that benefit the customer? Because remember, your mission statement has to benefit two people. It has to benefit the agents, which is a customer, and it also has to benefit your buyers and sellers. So now what I want you to do, you're hitting a home run on this. Now I want you to tell me how that's going to benefit the customer. Come up with words and phrases that the customer will sense or feel or maybe repeat. And I'll give you the actual words that were given. Ready? Customer says, well, if I'm doing all this, then what the customer is going to feel will be memorable. Okay. It's going to be incredible. Okay, the customer is going to feel best in class. Best in class. That was the best experience in class. It might be referral worthy. I'm definitely recommending you guys. You've heard that before, right? It might be invigorating. Wow, that experience was so amazing. It was invigorating. Now, I know that not all of them go that way, but they could. If you're batting 1,000 over here, okay, it could be unheard of. If all this is happening, okay, if we're nailing these over here and we're feeling this way, then the customer will feel this. Okay, now what I want you to do is circle, and let's just pretend I had a bunch more, because I do have a bunch more, but for sake of time, I'm not going to write them all in. Now let's circle some similarities over here. Okay, so memorable, incredible. Got it. Yep, absolutely. All right. Unheard of. Yep, unheard of. I love it. Okay. referral worthy. Okay, you're circling things that have special meaning to you or are similar to other words, things that are just overwhelming. Meaning, if you're wondering why are we doing the circle activity, because if somebody throws out something that maybe makes sense, but it's not something you can rally around, it's not something that anybody else said, then it's not worthy of being in your mission statement. That's why we do the circling activity. Okay, so now we need to create a word or phrase that matches these circled words. Okay, in our experiment here, the word or phrase that we came up with was the following: deliver an unreal, there it is again, experience. Watch. If we're batting 1,000 on everything we do great as a company, and these are all the reasons why you're here, then when you get here, you're going to feel all of these emotions. You're going to feel these feelings, which is going to cause you to have a great attitude, a smile, excited to show up to work every day. You create a word to identify what those feelings are. Unreal, something so amazing it's almost unbelievable. Now, because you've mastered that and you've done so well with that, the customer has these feelings. And the customer has these feelings, which you can document as deliver an unreal experience to the client. Now, we're not done, okay, because we have to put it all together. How do we put it all together? Okay, you look at your one-word phrase here. Now, one-word phrase here is what we feel, how we act, how we behave. That's generated from over here. Your one-word phrase here is based on what the customer wants, what the customer's going to feel, what the customer's going to experience. And you take these two and you put them together. Now, at first crack, you're going to do a first draft. In your first draft, by the way, it's going to be longer, okay? Your first draft is going to be, probably 15, 20 words, maybe even a couple sentences. Let me share with you what our first draft was, by the way. Our first draft was real estate, and I'll repeat this so you can hear it. Real estate leaders living an unreal experience to deliver an unreal experience. That was a first draft of our mission statement. Taking all this, putting it together, we came up with real estate leaders living an unreal experience to deliver an unreal experience. Here's the problem, that's too long. Why is it too long? Number one, it's hard to remember. Number two, it's not catchy. Number three, it's hard to market. You want to think of your mission statement as something that you can market to the public. Who's your public? Who's your customer? You have two customers, real estate agents and buyers and sellers. So we had to come up with a shortened version. Okay, so when you write this up there, you and your people, or you doing this by yourself, you're going to need to come up with a shorter version. By the way, a great mission statement is never more than 6 to 10 words. A great mission statement is maybe 11, 12 at the most. Okay, it does not need to be these paragraphs that a lot of you are putting out there. Let's make it 7 to 10 words. Ready? It needs to be catchy, marketable, easy to remember, part of your culture. So let me share with you what came out of this. Real estate leaders living an unreal experience to deliver an unreal experience. Ready? Had to be memorable. We had to shorten it. Living an unreal experience to deliver one. Period. Living an unreal experience to deliver one. Period. You have to come up with something that your people buy into. You have to come up with something that you buy into personally. You have to live it. It has to be part of your culture, right? It needs to be on the t-shirts that people wear around. It needs to be part of the experience that people expect when they come to work with you. Catchy, part of culture. Get ready to market it like crazy. Now, let's talk about vision for a second, okay? We're going to wrap up in a few minutes here. Let's talk about vision. Vision, okay, mission is what you stand for, what you believe in. If you carry out the mission, I want you to really hear me loud and clear on this. If you carry out the mission, if you live the mission, the vision is inevitable. Meaning, if you follow the rules of the mission, if you live and breathe the mission, the vision will take place naturally. So I wrote down under vision. Vision is the ability to promote where you've been and where you're going. Mission is what you believe in, how you behave, what's important to you. The vision is where you've been and where you're going. So a couple things. Let's go back to the whiteboard for a second. Activity on creating a vision. Ready? I want you to change why to the past. So I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to write up here with one of my markers that works, hopefully. Past. So change why to past, or if you're following along in your workbook, then obviously just drop down a couple spaces and do that. Okay, under past, okay, so I'm going to erase this, so hopefully you got most of it. You're going to come up with your own stuff anyway, so now I'm sure some of you will borrow some of ours, and that's okay, but it really needs to be you. I mean, your mission needs to be all about your group, what you believe in, what they believe in. So you're changing why to past, and you're doing the same activity with your people. And what I want you to have them do is talk about where we've been. Write down some milestones. Now, for some of you just getting started, this may be harder to do, but I promise you've had some milestones. You just have to give it some thought, right? So you almost want to create like a timeline. In fact, in our recruiting booklet, we have a timeline of the history of monumental things that have taken place in the company. By the way, some of them aren't even monumental. Some of our things are, we hired our first ISA. I mean, that's the past, right? So I want your people and you to do an activity where you're writing down where you've been, okay? So these are just some of the things that our group wrote down, okay? #1 team in Michigan, best training, effective marketing, we're collaborative, we're accountable, we have excellent service, we give back through Glover's Heroes, that's our nonprofit foundation. All right, and we're extremely passionate, okay? We are extremely passionate on these things. So you're writing down where you've been, okay? Now what I want you to do is I want you to change feeling. I want you to change feeling to want. Feeling now becomes want, okay? Where you've been, where you're going, all right? So I'm gonna erase these for a second. Where you've been, and where you are going. Okay, and again, I want you to follow along here. Okay, we want to continue to be #1. Okay, we want to provide even better service. We want to add more value. Okay, we want to make a bigger difference in the community. We want to be surrounded by top producers. We want to have an even better reputation. And innovation. We want to constantly be innovating. We don't want to be, just stale. We don't want to be status quo. All right. So now that's under what you want. Okay. Now what I want you to do is look up how it benefits the customer. Okay. So we're going to leave these ones alone for a second. We're just going to focus on the customer. Okay. How is this going to benefit the customer? Okay. So I'm going to erase that because we don't need that. So how is this vision of ours, our past and where we want to go, how's it going to benefit the customer? Okay, well, it's going to benefit the customer by, ready? Remember the mission. Take the mission into consideration. You can't have a vision without the mission. We're going to revolutionize the customer experience. Living an unreal experience to deliver one. When we live our mission, this takes place, okay? We are solid on our past. Our past is our foundation. What we want takes place when we live our mission. And when we live our mission and focus on our vision, we revolutionize the customer experience. So I want you, by the way, can you hand me our recruiting book? It was up here somewhere. I want you to think about the following. Vision is not like, people say, oh, you got a big vision. Oh, he's got a big vision. Vision is not, like this pie in the sky goal, this number that you have to accomplish. Vision is simply building on the foundation and identifying what you want. And when you identify what you want, because you follow your mission and you believe passionately in the mission, the vision will just show up naturally. So our vision, by the way, to revolutionize, there it is, to revolutionize the real estate industry through passion, innovation, and expertise. In other words, we're taking what we wrote down here and collectively coming up with words together to explain that. To revolutionize the real estate industry through passion, innovation, and expertise. And then, of course, we know internally by doing so what that will lead to. So I want you to take this one to heart and think about, all right, what is my personal mission? What is our company's mission? By the way, when's the last time we've evaluated it? When is the last time we've looked at it? When is the last time we've improved it, made it better? And I want you to think about ways you can do that. I want you to take the mission and the vision and make it part of your value proposition. You cannot have a strong value proposition without being able to not only, number one, having a clear mission and vision, but being able to articulate it, being able to talk about it. By the way, early on, I was guilty of not talking about our vision enough. It was in here, but I wasn't talking about it. I didn't get our troops rallied around it. You got to involve your people. And then watch this. Ready? You recruit to the mission and you retain to the vision. You recruit to the mission and you retain to the vision and be able to promote it. I wrote down materials, campaigns, videos, testimonials, social media, examples. Okay? The vision, audible, print, email, text, podcast, whatever. You recruit to the mission and you retain to the vision. Next week, we're talking about creating an unbreakable value proposition, but there's no point in talking about that unless you have your mission and your vision down. Between now and then, what I want you to do is go back and review your notes, number one. Number two, if you heard something today that's share worthy, take a screenshot of your screen, write down a quote, put it out on Facebook, use the hashtags behind me, hashtag #LoveYou, hashtag #ReLead. Maybe you could get selected to win some random stuff. And we are giving a trip away during one of these sessions. Of course, we're not going to tell you what session that is. That's going to be a surprise. For now, let's have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 11:30.